Call to order. It is 6:30 p.m., November 10th, 2025, and this is the regular meeting of the Monroe Township Zoning Board of Adjustment. Notice of this meeting was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act, and a copy was posted on the second floor bulletin board in Town Hall and on the Township's website. Please be advised, no new item of business will start after 10:30 p.m., and the meeting shall terminate no later than 11 p.m. Please note, audio and video of this meeting is being recorded in accordance with Ordinance 56/2024. The meeting is being broadcasted live on the Township's YouTube channel, and a link to view this meeting will be posted on the Township's website for the public to view at their convenience. Please stand to salute the flag, started by Mr. Kozak.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Carino?
Here.
Mr. Colavito is excused. Mr. Comiskey?
Here.
Mr. Deary?
Here.
Mr. Fuder?
Here.
Mr. Hefner?
Here.
Mr. Kozak?
Here.
Mr. McGeehan?
Here.
Mr. Rice?
Here.
Mr. Fiore?
Here.
Mr. Heverly?
Here.
Ms. Pellegrini? Mr. Warburton?
Here.
Thank you.
Mr. Fury with gifts.
Okay, just both are professionals, we're going to swear you in. You swear affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth this evening. Thank you.
Resolutions.
Resolutions, we're memorializing the resolutions from last meeting. First one, if the board so chooses, you can handle them by way of consent agenda, and we can do a roll call vote at the end. First is Resolution 49-2025, 2532 Tiffany Fry. It's a lot coverage variance which was approved. Resolution 50-25 is number 25-34 Joel Pacone rear yard and side yard variances. Third resolution is R51-2025, it's number 25-13, the Enclave at Monroe LLC, and that was for an adjournment. The final one is R52-2025, it's number 25-23, and 556, site plan for Joseph's Landscaping, Inc., and it was a use variance and minor site plan.
Members, your pleasure in regards to Resolution 49/2025 through 52/2025.
Motion to approve, Kozak?
Second.
Roll call.
Am I only calling the members that were present? There was only
Yes.
five. Okay. Mr. Carino?
Yes.
Mr. Colavito, sorry, Mr. Colavito's not here. Mr. Comiskey?
Yes, here.
Mr. Kozak?
Yes.
And Mr. Fuder?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, first on the agenda, applications. Application 25-24 and 558 site plan Scotland Run Properties, Inc.
Good evening. Emily Davis on behalf of the applicant, Scotland Run Properties Incorporated. We have provided appropriate notice, published in the newspaper, and provided our affidavit of service to your secretary and solicitor. The property is block 14201 lot 3 on your tax maps, located in your business park zone district, more commonly referred to as Scotland Golf Club. We're here this evening seeking preliminary and final major site plan approval as well as use variance, bulk variance, and waiver relief for improvements to the golf club. The principal use as the golf course is a permitted commercial recreation facility in the BP zone. The overall tract size is approximately 295 acres. However, the proposed area of disturbance for development is 7.72 acres. As you may know, Mr. Stevens does a property here at the 18-hole golf course, the clubhouse, snack shack, range building. We have an approved maintenance building, which has not yet been constructed. We have a solar farm, which currently has 20 panels, which will be reduced to 4 panels and 2 partial panels. We are proposing our application in 2 phases, and the first phase would be the 2-story member-only locker house or proposed pickleball courts and a practice range for the locker house. And then in phase 2, we would move into the portion of the project where the 1-story maintenance building, which would require reduction of the solar farm from the 20 to 4 full panels and 2 partial panels. And that phase 2 would also encompass, along with the maintenance building, 2-story attached offices and storage and attached one-story equipment wash bay, and a one-story equipment and chemical storage building. As I said, we're seeking C variance and a waiver approval from the board as well, which our experts, Mr. Thomas and Mr. Hawk, will review in detail with the board. There is a parking variance, location of accessory structure in front of the main building. There are some pre-existing non-conforming conditions which will be explained. We are requesting the fence around the pickleball, which would require relief as it is in the front of the property. We're proposing some outdoor fuel stations, which require fencing under your code, and you're not proposing any, and an explanation will be provided in testimony for that waiver relief. And we are also requesting relief from your lighting standards with regard to 4 poles. And we have received an email from a resident who had specific questions with regard to the proposed 60-foot, 50-foot, and 40-foot light poles. We do have our lighting experts with us this evening, and they will provide testimony to support the relief requested, and are here to answer any questions that the board has or any the public may have with regard to that. We have received the September 16th and November 5th letters from Colliers, and to the extent that our revised submission plans and our response letter dated October 6th from our project engineer, Jared Thomas, have not addressed their comments. We will provide that testimony this evening in support of our requested experiences from neighbors. We have also received a letter from your fire official indicating that these no comments on the application is submitted. We do have quite a few witnesses this evening to present testimony. We have Nick Barrow, who is the general manager of Scott McClellan, and he will review the operations and the different timing of those operations for the board. We have Jared Thomas, our civil engineer with Consulting Engineer Services, Brian Marshall with Musco Sports Lighting, Stephen Hall, who is our professional planner, and we have Jay Rockefeller, our architect, all here ready to present testimony as needed. Mr. Fury, would you like us to swear everyone in at once, or?
You might as well swear them all in at once. One word. Okay, can all of you gentlemen please raise your right hands? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And then when you come to the podium, you're going to state your name and you can use your business address. Okay, thank you.
I'm Nick Morrow of the John Venture of Scotland Golf Club, which is 2656 Road, here in Scotland.
Can the application be complete?
The application can be deemed complete, subject to 2 waivers. Waivers of 200 foot conflict beyond the property line, waiver from providing a full site survey to the lot. The ability to execute those waivers. There's also 2 deferrals as condition of approval, utility service installed plan, and written evidence of compliance for each utility service. We have no objection to those deferrals as long as they're conditions of approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion deeming the application complete?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Please continue.
You know, our October 6th submission, we provided an operation statement that was prepared by Mr. Morrow, and he's going to go through that with the board's pleasure. If you don't have any questions, once it's completed, or if you do have questions with regard to engineering testimony, we can bring the other to give you that back up. But for right now, we'll just have Mr. Morrow go through his operation statement, provide you some information about how events are run and when certain facilities are going to be utilized and their overlap and timing of certain things. So, turn it over to Mr. Morrow.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Nick Morrow, General Manager of Scotland Run. The reason for my testimony mainly is to kind of, I think, just concerns with parking. and I kind of wanted to address that first. At the golf course, we have basically three businesses. We have the golf course, we have the restaurant, and we have a banquet and wedding facility. The golf course tends to be a morning dominated activity, so most of our operation from that starts as early as 6:30, 7 a.m. in the middle of the summer, and faces out by about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at which point restaurant, there's a little bit of a lunch crowd, but most of the lunch crowd is here from the golfers themselves after golf. There are some folks that come in, shoot as well, but in that context, it's a lot of golf, a little bit of lunch. A lot of that clears out for the next day, which is dinner time, 5, 6 o'clock. Restaurant will pick up, at the same point, that's our demand for banquet operations as well, weddings are obviously getting gigs. So the timing of when our operation is busy kind of varies throughout the day. It's never all three facets of business at once. The parking that we have now, I'm sure you're familiar with Scholar Run. I've been there since 2006, general manager since 2014. Not once in my recollection have we had parking issues at the current time. Not once have we had a situation where cars were piled on Flagsville Road, or we had a situation of any kind where people couldn't park. So I expect that. We expect that to continue. We don't expect any change, even though we are proposing a new building, which we'll obviously talk about. It's really just moving the operation. So the member locker houses we're proposing is taking the golfers that we have and putting them into another building. We currently don't have a locker room that's big enough for the membership that we now have. So the first floor of this building is a locker room. The second floor is then a restaurant bar for that golf membership. Meanwhile, the main building, main clubhouse, will still stay open to the public for lunch, dinner, and events. And because we're just taking the golfers we really have, not adding to it, we expect additional parking. In fact, last year we switched the operation from a public golf club, just like a golf course, to a private model, which has reduced the traffic 23%. As I don't know if you guys went through the responses that we handled a while ago. That was through the end of August. I did update that through the end of October. It's at down 24%. Last year we did 24,500 rounds of golf through October 31st. Excuse me, 32,300 rounds through October 21st. This year we've done 24,500 rounds, so a reduction of 1,700 rounds, which is 24%. So parking demand has subsided. Not that we had a good issue prior, but it was less than it's been before. The other aspect of this application is the addition of pickleball. Pickleball, we don't expect a lot of traffic there. We're proposing four pickleball courts on site, and pickleball is a sport played 4 people at one time in the courts. You're talking 16 people at any given time. I guess you could argue the max would be at turnover time. You have a group playing, and then the next group kind of arriving to get ready. There is a study, another expert can testify with, but 0.75 is the kind of vehicle ratio they use for pickleball studies for parking. Based on that, we're anticipating 24 spaces being needed, but with the reduction of the golf that we have currently now, we see no issue or problem with being able to fill that with what we have. In addition, we also have 18 new parking spaces being erected at the same time to alleviate any demand that I don't really think will be there, but they're already erected as it is. So the operation, again, we can be busy any given day, but it kind of flows throughout the day. People come and go at different times throughout the property, so we don't expect any work until we before parking that's over here asking for a parking variance as part of this application. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me in regards to the parking or anything?
No, the pickleball is only the members only,
Correct.
so it's not open to the public?
Yes, we will
Okay,
have.
so it's the same people?
Yeah, we will have the same people. We will have another type of membership for pickle, but it is just for members only.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next expert is Mr. Thomas with CBS. We security, as he goes through, we'll
I'll
mark
mark
them.
them individually, that's fine.
And we can have him qualified.
Yeah.
Jerry, you haven't been here for a while.
Not for a while, no. Good evening, everybody. I apologize for that, but I am not feeling 100% today. My name is Jared Thomas. I'm a professional engineer licensed in the state of New Jersey and Florida. I've been practicing, I graduated Drexel University with a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering. I have testified before this board as well as multiple other boards throughout the state of New Jersey. And I have approximately 18 years of professional experience.
Second.
An offer was an expert.
Yes, the board accept Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
So, to build off of Nick's testimony, there's a couple of variances and waivers that we require some sort of engineering testimony to address. First of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about just the magnitude of the site and to warrant waivers associated with side yard and rear yard setbacks. As you can see from this exhibit, the area that where we're proposing disturbance versus where the back property lines are, the side property lines are, is significant. Therefore, that is the basis for why we're requesting waivers associated with outbound property lines. We're only focusing on providing setbacks that are accurate with regards to the nearest front yard and side yard setbacks on the premise that we are far exceeding the 20-foot and 35-foot setback that we require.
Okay, one.
Yes. Next, cycling,
Thank
overall
you.
cycling.
It is the overall site area.
With regards to parking, I did want to clarify one of Nick's statements. We did not have a specific study that we referenced with regards to the request for 0.75 parking spaces per player for the pickleball. ITE didn't have a specific guidance on this value. However, we evaluated typical patterns that we saw with pickleball players. Given that it's going to be a team sport, it seemed likely that some percentage of players would be arriving together to play the game. For that reason, coupled with the fact that there's such a significant reduction in the peaks that we saw, our office specifically evaluated the month of June between 2024 and 2025, since that's a typical peak for both golf as well as the restaurant. And we noticed, yes, there's a significant reduction in the number of restaurant services as well as rounds of golf over the course of that month. Given that such a significant reduction, furthermore, that is the peak month, and then evaluated against the fact that there are no existing parking issues, we do not believe that there would be a parking issue going forward with this proposed development, since we anticipate either demand for the site to be either less than or equal to what it was in 2024 when the facility was publicly accessible. I did want to discuss a waiver that is being requested. Starting on page 9 of Collier's review letter.
Are you referring to the November 5th letter?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so sure, okay.
In the November 5th letter on page 9, Colliers identified that an area of tree line has been removed. It's not shown on this A1 exhibit, but I do want to illustrate where it is for the board's understanding. Approximately here on the northern property line. I'm trying to figure out a way to describe this, I apologize, but it is approximately
I want to say 1,500, 2,000 feet east of our limits of disturbance. This area, as the tree line was removed, my understanding is that it was as part of a maintenance matter that the golf course was doing to maintain the tees. Nick can provide additional testimony as to why that is necessary, but that is the basis for the waiver. They removed those trees for other maintenance matter. With regards to the front of the property, there's a 8-foot tall fence associated with the pickleball courts. I think the need for that is primarily, as maybe obvious, is that we make sure the walls bounce out of the courts, nothing gets up on Freeze Mill Road. Additionally, there is the northern wall is intended to be a solid wall to mitigate sound nuisance towards the neighbors.
Could you note again where the solid walls?
Say again?
Could you note again where the solid walls?
There's a northern fence, well, really wall proposed here on the pickleball court. And it's intended to be close to the source of the noise to mitigate the sound. I'm trying to skip to the ones that I think are most relevant for discussion. There's a comment from Colliers on page 15 of the membership letter regarding the width behind the proposed maintenance program. Let me pull it up. Exhibit A2, color render of the site. So this refers to a 15-foot width drive aisle along the rear of the maintenance area. The reason for this that we're requesting it is one, to minimize how much disturbance that we are doing, but in addition, the vehicles that are primarily going to be utilizing this facility will only be accessible to employees of Scotland Yard. There's absolutely no public access to this area. Furthermore, the vehicles that are going to be operating it are things that have very narrow turning radii, things like a 0-point turning radius mower, things like that. So therefore, we're not concerned about, like, are they going to be able to make this turn? The answer is yes, they will be able to, which is going to be tight. We did look at vehicle turning maneuvers for fire trucks. The fire truck cannot make the turns back there. However, they are able to pull up along the side here and along the side here. As mentioned previously, there is no comments that were issued by the fire marshal. So we did not think that it was necessary for a fire truck to be able to turn completely around the vehicle. Around the building. Alright. There was a, previously, prior to the revised plans, there was a trash enclosure proposed at the maintenance building. That has since been removed. The reason being is that, as Nick will testify to, all solid waste recycling activities, deliveries that can't occur here will happen over at the current delivery areas for Scotland Run, which actually occurs a little to the east of, a little south of here, over in this area right now. That's currently where they're happening, and that's where will continue to happen if they can't occur here. So any waste that is generated by the maintenance facility will be manually take it over to that disposal area.
Chairman, question. So what you're saying is that there's not gonna be no stacks of pallets, empty bags, any kind of trash whatsoever in that building? You're gonna physically take it from there, you're gonna move it down to the other end?
I'll allow Mr. Brewer to testify to
I've
that.
never seen a maintenance building not generate.
My understanding is that, like, if any waste was to be generated prior to being taken over to the other spot, it'd be stored inside, but I'll allow Mr. Brewer to testify on that.
The answer to that question is not at that location. We currently don't, we accept the deliveries, as Jared said before, it's down on this, it's to the south side of the clubhouse, where we have a delivery entrance, and we have trash facilities. That'll continue, so we're not going to bring any of those materials into this location.
That's not what he said. What he said was that deliveries that can't be handled at this facility will be taken down to the other end. So some deliveries will still go to this building.
Yes, yeah, but pallets and such will not.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're ready.
All right. And final two items, I think, is on page 18 of Collier's letter. Refers to EV parking spaces. So, our office provided some information. I'm not sure. I think this is not a subjective matter, though. Currently, EV rules, our understanding is that DCA clarified that additional spaces on a parking lot expansion are not subject to providing EV spaces if there's going to be 25 or fewer new spaces, which we provide 22. So therefore, we're under that threshold to believe that we are not subject to EV requirements. So therefore, we're requesting that the board provide a variance associated with that with EV rules. There's additional comments about landscaping as well as the interaction of the fence and the berm. Just want to clarify. So the intent here is that there's a fence over here, as comments 6.5 and 6.6 in the letter indicate. There's a fence over here. It does just kind of terminate into the berm. The intent really is just to prohibit, vehicle traffic moving through this driveway. This fence is not intended to preclude, pedestrian access. If somebody really wants to, climb up and over this landscaping berm, not really able to stop them from doing that with that fence. As for the landscaping on top of the berm, the intent would be to keep it similar to how it is today, which is, long grass. Is there any other questions before we have?
So we're not going to relocate the solar panels that are be taken away? It's not going to be relocated?
My understanding is they're to be removed fully.
For
So 20 down to 4.
the four, not going to be relocated?
That is my understanding, yes.
Thank you.
Just through the chair, proposed layout, let's see, whatever your maintenance equipment is, whether it's zero turns, tractors, whatever it is, how are they getting to the complex? Do you have a roadway that's going to the other end, or are they going to come down on the Carswell Road all the time?
For deliveries, you mean?
You said it's a maintenance facility, so I'm assuming guys are gonna have grass cutters there, leaf blowers, the whole nine yards, stir access to the whole facility for commercial.
Keep that up.
It's not
Oh,
showing
you want
up.
to
Yeah, keep that up.
larger? Okay.
So, yes, tractors and lawnmowers. They come right down the path that already exists.
Okay.
You don't have to go.
That's good.
Yeah, they'll definitely go on Friday.
You should probably just stay up there the whole time.
Fair enough.
There's a fair number of items that are definitely his bailiwick. If there's no additional questions?
Any more questions? Members of the board? No? Okay. Continue.
Thank you, sir.
Ryan Marsh is our lighting expert with sports lighting. Marsh, could you please provide to the board
Tim Marsh, address 211 2nd Avenue West, Oskaloosa, Iowa. I am a degree mechanical engineer from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, Worcester, Mass. I have worked at Musco Lighting for over 27 years. First 25 in the engineering department, and the last year and a half in sales. I'm sales manager currently for this Musco sales reps in the Northeast.
Does the board have any questions?
I just have a question. You said Wisconsin?
Iowa.
Iowa, okay.
Iowa.
I thought you were going to say you were a Packers fan. Go on.
I'm going to ask that, if the board has any questions.
It's good.
Accept him as an expert?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Marsh, could you please explain to the board, if you have an exhibit here? Which will be exhibit A and C. Could you just please explain to the board, the way that the 60-foot, 50-foot, 30-foot light poles would work, and how you can adjust the lighting, so as not to have spillover or, night sky pollution?
Correct. This is a 9-hole executive par3 golf course in Corpus Christi, Texas, that I designed myself before I got into sales. So we use 50 and 60-foot poles to light the course. As you can see, the spill area that cut off the light around the course, no light going outside of the golf course. In fact, there's some areas within the course that aren't part of individual holes that don't need to be lit. So there's less light there. The light fully shielded at the top of the pole, all the lights directed down. We do use some lighting fixtures that are mounted 15 feet up to provide targeted light for being able to track the ball in the night sky. Questions on that? The proposal for Scotland Run, pickleball, using the same fixture, only a 40-foot pole, like pickleball. The putting green is using a 4-foot pole, same fixture. The driving range tee box pole has, I believe, 3 fixtures at the top, directing down, out towards the driving range, and then it will have 3 of these to provide tracking on the for the driving range, and then 1 pole for the landing area that is 50 or 60, and it's 3 lights all directed down.
Mr. Marsh, could you please explain to the board, how having additional height assists with controlling glare?
It allows us to direct the light down instead of out, so that if we had shorter poles, we're either going to have more poles. The pickleball only needs a 40-foot pole for that smaller area. We get to the driving range, we're trying to cover a larger area, so we'll use a taller pole rather than short poles.
Can you also explain to the board, the term you used when we spoke previously was, light spillage and controlling that angle better. And so you have a specific number of, where you can see on the photographs, can you explain how it becomes dark so quickly?
With the fixture technology and the visor control, the mounting height, we're able to get the light where we want it, the golf course. And we're not putting light out here. So the lights are aiming towards the golf course. The fixture design controls that light so that we're projecting the light where we want to. If we had shorter poles and we have to get the light, from here to here, then you're going to have light spillage out here because of the shallow working angle. So the steep rain painting angle allows us to put the light on the golf course. Same here.
And in the event that there were some adjustments that need to be made, is that something that is easily done?
Yes, with our product, we're offering a 25-year warranty, so we're not walking away from this project. We want to be a good neighbor. Same thing with this golf course more so specific. It's installed, there's some areas where we went out there and we fine-tuned it, put more light on the course. There was some that had some light spillage out onto a road, so we would provide redirection of the light onto the course. There was a tee box that moved during the construction of this course, and they wanted some light there, so we adjusted and moved the light fixture on to provide more light on the tee box that was relocated.
And can you provide to the board a comparison to the intensity of the light versus from this versus perhaps front porch light?
Without knowing specific models of front porch lights and everything, we ran the glare for the site on the roadway next to the pickleball court and had a value of about 1,000 candela there, which is a measure of the glare, the intensity of the light. That would probably be most comparable to a front porch light as intensity. Think of a low beam headlight in a car, you're in that 10, 12,000 candela range. And we're talking about 1,000 candela on the roadway next to the pickleball.
Good questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have also our architect, Jay Rockefeller.
It's Jay Rockefeller from PAS Architects, 1628 JFK Boulevard. I graduated in 1997.
Somebody's got to speak up, we're going to microphone, I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Jay Rockefeller
There
from
we go.
PAS Architects, 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 1300, PA. I graduated with Bachelor of Architecture in 1997 from Institute of Technology. I have been working at PAS Architects for 27 years. We specialize in hospitality, hotels, clubhouses, housing. We have been working this project for 4 years now.
You could take that out and hold it if you're more comfortable instead of bending over and talking.
I'll just. Didn't seem like there were any questions on the comments, but we'll just give you a quick overview of the project. Explain the major function of the building is the locker room, which is on the first floor. On the second floor is the bar and lounge. This is a rendering view of the building from the sort of parking lot side. We sort of tried to scale the building down from the parking lot size, and that's why we built the second floor into the roof. And then it's going to sort of complement the existing clubhouse, but be a little bit different. Got a manager up parking lot, situated the first floor was the locker rooms. And the second floor has the bar and lounge and the big terrace over. Questions on the architecture?
We accept you as an expert.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Any questions for the So, do you have any questions you would like to ask him?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next professional.
It's our professional planner, Stephen Hawk, and I believe the board is familiar with Mr. Hawk, but if you'd like him to give you his talk.
I think he's been there quite often.
Nice to see you again.
Every other month, I think, right?
2 weeks ago, I was here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's nice to be here again, nice to be here for Scotland Run Golf Course and what they're doing. It's my job to kind of summarize testimony that's been given. You've heard some very specific technical testimony, but I'm more summary and more of how, I would say the variances that are more of a technical nature, they're not real severe and they're not real in opposition to the zone, can be justified with regards to planning testimony. So your report from your professionals informs the board that there's 2 variances under the D category, 70D, that section of the statute. And the D1 variance is the fact that some of the accessory uses or accessory buildings are out in front of the main building for Scotland Run, which is that main structure that you see when you drive down Frysville Road. And that D1 variance can be rectified by the fact that board already granted a solar field out in front, also accessory structures. That solar field is being reduced. And also that beautiful berming that's been there, and it's kind of like a signature feature of Scotland Run. Those buildings that are out in front are going to be behind the berming. So that's going to be mitigated, that visual of those buildings, because your ordinance says we don't really want the accessory buildings to be out in front and overpower the principal building. So the berming really helps and mitigates that. I would also say, just like I did 2 weeks ago with Joseph's Landscaping, that all of these buildings kind of function as a principal use. The principal use is the golf course and the golf facilities with it, along with the wedding venue, the event venue, and the restaurant. And all of these uses kind of act as one, even though they are called accessory structures. Your report also calls out a D2 variance because the amount of accessory structures and the amount of floor area is more than principal floor area with that main building. And that's a D2 variance. That's being exacerbated because there's more accessory space being built. I would say that the locker house shouldn't be classified at all as an accessory structure. I think it's a second principal structure because it's part of the golf facility and benefits and supplements the golf. So that is not as out of conformance as the ordinance calls out. It's a pre-existing condition, like I said, that most of the accessory structures are there and are currently above the principal square footage of the site. So whenever you have any kind of D variance, D1 or D2, and even in the C variances, there's a need to call out some purposes of zoning. This is a more efficient use of the land. There's 295 acres here. There's plenty of space, and it's nice to have the space and that acreage utilized to its fullest potential. We're blessed with the fact that we have a lot of area, and we can add this members locker space and the maintenance facilities close by. So there's a more efficient use of that land, that precious business park zone that you have here in Monroe. It also provides sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of agricultural, residential, recreational, commercial, and industrial uses in accordance with Purpose G. The zone permits these uses, and like I said, it's golf, it's recreation, restaurant, and the event venue promotes that purpose. And then Purpose J, there's a help to the environment, reduce vehicle trips, the efficiency of having that maintenance facility in one location, a little bit closer to the golf, helps in that regard as well. So it makes a more efficient use of the equipment that they utilize on site. Whenever you have a D variance, there's site suitability. Site suitability is really easy in this case. There's the first test, which is the location within the municipality. It's on an arterial road. It provides good north-south access, provides good access to Philly,
and also it's close to 322 provides the east-west access. The second test of site suitability is why the site itself, despite the ordinance and despite what is in your land use provisions, why the site itself works out, and that's really self-explanatory. The site is built and designed for a golf facility, has been for 25 years, and the space is available on site, so it also meets that regard. On the negative side, there's a requirement to prove that there's no substantial detriment to the public good. The short and sweet version of that is, will it take away from the character? Will it change the character? And the character of the neighborhood is residential developments, some residential across the street, along with one plumbing subcontractor facility, and the golf course, wedding venue, and restaurant. And that's essentially going to be the same with regards to the no substantial detriment to the public good and not changing the character of the neighborhood. The character is going to remain essentially the same. No substantial impairment of the zone plan and zoning ordinance is the second part of the negative criteria. All the uses that are proposed here are permitted in the business park zone, except for the solar, and the solar is being reduced. This site is well oversized for the zone. There could be a lot more sites. This site could, based on the zoning, could have warehousing and distribution uses. I think this is a real nice passive and less intense use for the zone, and would not make substantial impairment of the zone plan. So, wanted to go over briefly, real briefly, the waivers and the parking variance. They were talked about by our engineer, but I just wanted to briefly summarize them. The test for a waiver is that it's reasonable and that the intent is met by the ordinance. So the fence in the front yard is mitigated by some of the landscaping and the fact that it's needed to surround the pickleball courts. The pole lights, instead of the bollard type lights, are appropriate. The building entrance lighting for the locker house matches the architectural scheme of what we have already. And the fact that we don't have a loading space and we need a waiver, we have loading in another location. Same with the outdoor trash area that you heard testified to, and the fencing around the fuel area. Those are all waivers that I feel are meet the test of being reasonable and also meeting the intent. The one waiver that I wanted to go over a little bit more specifically was the height of the light poles. You heard the testimony that we're going to have some 40-foot light poles and some 60-foot light poles. We could have 25-foot light poles, and they can be close to the property line. That 60-foot light pole is going to be over 500 feet away from the property line. You heard the testimony from our lighting engineer as far as the precision and the technology of how light can be directed. And even though it's going to be higher, it's going to have some benefit as far as having less shadowing and that precision of not having to cast out in a lateral direction. It can cast down and not cause concern to the neighbors. You saw from the exhibits how it can go from lit to almost dark in a matter of just feet. So that's also a waiver that can be granted. With regards to the parking variance, I'd just like to sum up that, you know, oftentimes when you're granting parking variance, sometimes it's for a use that doesn't exist and it's not there and there's no history. There's 25 years of history here of the event venue and of the golf course and the restaurant. So in this case, the golf, you've heard testimony that the amount of parking needed for the golf is going to go down. The restaurant and wedding event venue will basically stay the same. Pickleball is going to be added, but it's replacing the driving range that was formerly public. So essentially, you almost have a reduction overall of parking. My experiences here, attending events, going to a wedding this summer, I saw 80 spaces available at 8:30 at night. There were 50 spaces available at 5 in the afternoon when I arrived, and the golfers left, and it was just the wedding group, and there was still an amount surplus of over 80 spaces. So I think the parking variance also has substantial positives over the detriments because it's it's better not to have more parking space and more asphalt than we need, and we definitely have enough parking. So for all of those reasons, I think the variances can be granted, the D1, the D2, the C, and also the waivers and the application to C. Thanks.
You have any questions for him?
No, I do not. It's a very good job.
Okay. Members of the board have any questions for their planner?
Just had, sorry. Going back to the maintenance building, since you have containment area, minimum 800, so 850 gallons, but you're gonna have two 550-gallon tanks there. So is the containment area gonna be enough? Right now, the numbers you're showing me won't contain if you had a catastrophic failure on your fuel tanks.
Based on design criteria, there's supposed to be a certain amount of, you need to contain full catastrophic failure of one of the tanks going up the area of it, plus, I think, it's either 3 or 6 inches of rainwater. So you're not presuming that both tanks both fail catastrophically. That's the general design criteria.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next professional, Betty?
We are complete with our current testimony, so we will refer now to the professional.
Adam, you have any or?
I'm just gonna ask that Adam's letter dated November 5th, 2024, from our NCCP1.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As Mr. Gerber said, that's the letter we're working on here, that's one of our state letters. I think we've heard a lot this morning, and I'm going to go back through what's proposed, we kind of heard it. Mr. Hall hit on the reasons we're good at D variances, obviously the C variances as well, and then the waivers. The first D variance was the D1 variance with the new buildings being head of that principal structure. In our code, it specifically says you never want buildings to be the actual principal structure. It takes away from that principal structure. We want to put it forward. So that was the first. The solar panels all around there, they are pre-existing non-conforming condition. They're the same exact way. They sit in front of that principal structure right now. The other, which was D2 variance, basically said that the accessory structures were outlining the principal structure, which again, our code specifically prohibits, with the addition of new accessory buildings. I know there's talk about the principal building, the locker house should be included with the principal structure that's out there right now in the clubhouse. I would understand that if they were attached, or there was some kind of breezeway between the two, or something like that. But in this case, I would also say that the accessory building should be that principal structure. In which case, along with everything else, we're outweighing. So the site would now equate to about 90,330 square feet for the accessory structures. It would present an increase of 38,668 square feet on site with everything else that's existing, that's total. So they do need D2 variance at this standpoint. Some of the positive and negative criteria that was presented, I would agree with. I think this is definitely more efficient use of the land. I think they have plenty of property. This is a golf course. It's a recreation facility with pickleball courts and other accessory uses that would kind of contribute towards bringing more people out for recreation. So it's advancing the public good. Solar was already granted. We heard the berm will obstruct some of the view of these accessory buildings. The berm in front does provide somewhat of a buffer from the residential uses. Not that golf is, more of a intrusive use, I guess we can call it. It's very low intensity use. Purpose G, I would agree with, is advanced on this and positive criteria. The site is suitable. This is the main roadway out there, Friday Hill Road. It takes a lot of people through town. It's a good draw. I would agree with that. And the site is set up for golf, obviously. So it's just expanding on the same use that is there now, trying to draw more people. I would agree with on the negative criteria side for the D variance, that the site will remain the same operation, so there is no substantial detriment. On the zoning ordinance as a whole, the uses are permitted. The solar is actually being pulled back a little bit, and it's the best use in this area with residential. I would agree with that as well. BP zone is set up for business park, it's set up for warehousing, it's set up for commercial businesses and things like that. Recreation being something that's also permitted. I would say that in a residential area with Sterling Lane, residential use across the street, this is one of the best uses in this area. And for them to kind of pushing to continue this use in this location, I believe, helps to substantiate the negative side of things as well. The bulk variances that were requested, the minimum side yard setback, we did hear the applicant request an outbound survey per se would not be included with this. I would agree with some of the testimony that they provided that they are moving far enough away from the side yard setback with these buildings that we proposed. I don't think there's any reason why we need them to provide any more exact distances than what they've shown on the plan, using that map data that they asked for. So I would say that those two waivers or variances, whatever you want to look at them as, are appropriate in this condition. Going into the buffers, this is the last thing I'll speak on, and I'll let Pam kind of take over. The buffer area that we looked at that was removed was in that back corner up against Sterling Glen. It was up against the basin, if you can envision what Sterling Glen looks like. I don't have to take it back on the aerial, but there was a large section of trees that were removed recently, as recently as October 16, 2025 is when it shows up on aerial. It is included in our letter, definitely as you get the picture. There was a good amount of area that was taken out next to the basin. It wasn't directly adjacent to any residential properties, but again, it was around the basin. We should be keeping, since this is a non-residential use, we should be keeping a 25-foot buffer from those residents along with that stormwater pond. I don't think it presents a huge issue. If the buffer was to be left, I would say that we should put something back in that, whether it be a row of arborvitae or evergreens that are put in that area, just to again bring that buffer back that they took down. I don't know that all entire 25 feet needs to be planted. I would also ask for just some supplemental plantings, or I would recommend some supplemental plantings along that buffer line where some of the trees have been taken down, whether it be Sterling Glen when they did their work, some of the trees along that property line were taken down. Again, it's a golf course, so I don't know how intrusive this is to Sterling Glen residents, but it's something that we should consider. I would like to hear if the applicant has any plans to actually revegetate that area, or if they're proposing to put anything in there. But kind of clear this up right now.
Why are they taking down?
Sure. Yeah. Trees and grass don't get along. So the trees had encroached to the point where our second tee box and first green are right in that area we're talking about. We were just struggling with turf grass. So trees, airflow, sunlight, get the roots out of there. It was just too grassy. We figured, as far as views go, most people like it given a golf course. You move on to a golf course, we didn't think it was a good issue in that regard, but that's why we don't plan on putting that for the same reason for turf, but a row of arborvitae is certainly not going to be an issue or won't be a problem.
So you would be okay with just
We'd be
putting
fine.
a row of arborvitae along there that it grows up?
Yeah. The residents may actually like the way it looks now, but I'd be perfectly fine.
Sure, absolutely.
And they're narrow, they don't, the trees will get there. I mean,
Yeah,
25 years grown, so 50 grown trees, I'm not sure.
right. Looks like a stand of oaks was out there.
Yeah,
or something like that.
And grown some hard as well.
Understood. Again, it's up to the board.
Sure.
I know, again, golf is, a lot of people like looking at golf, so it's necessary, but.
Through the chair, you want to put a height on them? As
Sure.
What
Yeah,
height
absolutely.
you want planted?
I mean, we typically go on, they should be 8 foot when they're planted, at plant height, and then they should be, anywhere from 3 to 4 foot spacing. They generally grow vertically, they don't really grow out, so we want to make sure we're creating a solid buffer. So, I would agree, yeah. If the board so chooses, we make that condition approval. It sounds like you're okay with that? That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. I can't take over.
Any more questions for Adam? Seeing none? Pam, you're on.
A lot of waivers and variances were already addressed by the applicant. Just going to point out a few that are in the letter that have not been addressed. It was a basic testimony. An environmental assessment was not provided or submitted. A waiver has been requested, we have no objection to this waiver, as the site is currently occupied and used, so that's another, waiver that needs to be added to the waiver list. Also, on page 12 of our letter, item 5.2, split rail fence continue along the entirety of Basin A and Basin B to deter public access to the basin. Applicant has requested a waiver. You lead to the board, rather large public, they say that don't come close to the basins, but I think they should provide some flexibility.
Through the chair, do you want to ask them now if they want
Yeah.
to put the, so we can
Yes.
not have to read?
So whoever can answer this question, please step up to the microphone.
Sure.
Thanks.
Where the location of the basins are now is in the driving range that currently exists, which people do not access, and also behind so here and here will be behind the maintenance building, which again is not accessible to the public. We have a gate right here in the front road, open in the morning and closed, basically usually closed about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it'll be gated for the rest of the day, and there is no on the sidewalk, anything near public flies that should be able to get back there. It's in the driving range now, which is basically by design already, but we just, because of the no access idea, we're built to this thought because not necessarily one of those two areas.
The only question I would pose is its proximity to residential development to the north. There should be access from residents, not sure. Do you recall how people are?
Second?
How many bases?
Oh, sorry. I believe the bases are like 4 feet. They're not very deep, and have a high integrated infiltration, so they're hardly ever going to be in water.
How close do you think they are to the residential neighborhood?
I mean, they're, I'd say like the distance from the edge of one base to the nearest residential property is about 2 feet.
There's no fence in that.
There's a fence around the solar area, but that's it.
According,
So we'll just,
lighting.
let's stay right there for a second.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll address it.
So what do we, so are you satisfied with your answer, Pam, or you rather have a fence you put there? And when you're putting a fence there, so the people in the development don't wander onto the golf course or that area and then go into the basin?
Yeah, I believe Sterling Glen has a fence around their basin, for the same reason, a fence around.
But this is actually part of the, in the middle of the driving range. You don't want to put a fence in the middle of the drive, am I right?
Yeah.
If that's. the
It would
case,
just
then-
probably kick in.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna be fixing it.
Okay, I didn't know whether that was part of the driving range that was. Okay,
So you're okay with no fence there?
yeah.
Okay.
We have no objection.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Make those spots where you hit the ball a little bit wider.
We can all use that.
Yeah, right.
So that waiver would need to be provided by the board. Under lighting, they provided testimony. The only thing that wasn't addressed was whether the lighting that photo cell and the timers to be utilized in the law for a certain time.
We currently use photocell on property, I haven't used this.
Just a quick question, because obviously when it's dark out, not golf, now that you're proposing, basically you're gonna have driving range, you're gonna operate at night, pickleball's gonna be at night, what exactly would be the hours of operation on those lights shut off?
Okay,
Just for the record.
good question. So the lights on the drive range are event specific only. At most, it would be on average once a week, something like a Friday night, like it's kind of nice, if you remember something about it balls until 10 o'clock and call it a day. Same with pickle. Pickle would be something that would be done in, it's outdoors, it's in the summer. It's a popular evening activity, so in the longest parts of the summer, you're still right after 8:30. You're probably usually looking for 10 o'clock, at most 11 o'clock in the middle of summer. But this time of year, it's too cold. I mean, we're not going past 8 o'clock at night. We're not trying to be there till midnight or longer. We don't currently do that now. We're not trying to extend those hours. And that would be spring and fall heavy. This would be during the summer as well, or excuse me, summer and fall. And this would be during the summer. Once a week on average.
So, again, people that are actually using the facility will be able to turn the lights off and on when they want to.
People?
Whoever the members are.
No,
I'm saying, so you guys run the show.
Yes.
What time you shut the lights off?
We would shut them off at 11 o'clock. On the fifth.
What time does pickleball start?
It would be an all-day activity.
Now, when you start, 6 o'clock in the morning it starts, 5 o'clock? When do you start, people start playing pickleball?
To be honest, I haven't given the exact time frame in the morning in my mind. We start the golf course at 6:30, so we're already there. So we would,
So
as long as it's
coordinate
within
with
the
that.
noise ordinance, we would say.
Well, that's
there at 7
where
o'clock.
we're gonna go.
Yeah, we would
After
say, so
your-
we would go with whatever the noise was. I don't know
So
off the
6,
top of my head.
6:30
6 or
to
7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
6
I
or
don't-
7. Okay, go ahead.
Lighting testimony that was provided, talked about the Bauer style pedestrian scale, Bauer style lighting, that they were, the lighting that they're proposing is sufficient for that. As such, a waiver is required for providing it. Did I understand that testimony correctly?
So what we have currently now are sidelights. We're along the parking lot and around the walkways on the back side of the main building, right here. So we want to match the decorative fixtures that are there and use those on the pathways coming out of the building, and as well as the pathway that's from here, between here and Pickle. We just want to match what's there. We just don't want to different structure. But we have Hanover lights provided by design. Drawn somewhere, I guess, it's not right here on this one, but there are lights in place already in these decorative fixtures.
Another item that wasn't covered was building mounted lights at the entrances and exits of the building. Is the existing lighting being provided or to adequate lights there?
Yeah, that I would defer to the building architect, Jay, but we have lighting going around this. Yes, it's office itself. Sure. Well,
So there is lighting on the building, the main entry is sort of the front porch here. So it doesn't show us better, but there are 2 wall sconces on these columns, there's wall sconces on the, adjacent to the entry door. That front porch has downlights in the ceilings, the whole front porch is going to be really well lit. And then we have lights at wall sconces on the side of the building, at the rear entry directly into the locker room. There's also wall sconces around the corner for staff entry at the back, and the house entry is. So the building will be well lit.
Okay, would you be able to add that information to the site plan?
yes, we will have that in a second.
Okay.
So a waiver is not needed for that. Also, there was a comment, the lighting plan shows multiple concrete foundations on proposed beams and within concrete walkways. This should be corrected.
Yeah, we'll correct that. The light plan was kind of prepared without a certain level of accuracy, but we can make some slight adjustments. It doesn't fundamentally change the whole site.
Thank you.
The parking variance was addressed. There are waivers needed for living spaces and trash enclosures.
That's for this building. This building, we have current loading dock area on the main clubhouse, which is where we'll continue to accept all of our deliveries of food and beverage.
So, just to be clear, you got no deliveries, no dedicated format meetings going.
On maintenance building, they'll accept deliveries.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's.
the locker house, they will, I'm sorry.
Right, no, that's what we're getting at, so that there's no dedicated loading space on that maintenance building side. We're just looking for something to either substantiate why there's no loading space there, or go at loading space. So that's what we're, our knowledge trying to get.
Okay, okay. What do you mean by loading?
So basically, they're not parking, when they pull up, they're not parking right in the middle of the aisle to prevent access from getting either to the side of the building, or if somebody's trying to fill up a fuel tank.
Sure,
or,
I got you.
that type of deal. So, anything to substantiate that, if there's a parking spot, maybe that they can park in and make deliveries.
Yes,
Or-
yeah. Most of the deliveries that are gonna be there are, it's pretty minimal, so for the golf course, we seasonally get one tractor trailer with fertilizer for the entire season, we get that delivered. Again, down on this side, where we currently get that. Otherwise, daily, there's really no daily deliveries that happen there, there's not, the fuel truck comes once a week, and that's just like fuel. So we don't order anything else material-wise, dirt, sand, that kind of stuff, again, it's went to where it currently is now on the southern property. There's not a delivery that occurs to the maintenance facility other than, dirt and sand, that's what that is. Fertilizer,
Any other deliveries would be like a Amazon delivery.
yeah, that comes to the main building, yeah, we're gonna still use the main 2665 number address, is where it goes, and also we have the deliveries on there.
So you wouldn't necessarily need one space because the bulk comes in on the other side.
Yeah, right.
The same, could you also go a little bit more of the trash collection, the fact that there's the trash enclosure, that, your facilities, maintenance for the residents?
Sure.
Clubhouse?
Sure. Similar to the maintenance building, but we'll start there because that's easier. There's not a lot of trash generation, so you have staff that comes in the morning to mow the grass, they come in, they check in, get their sign on the golf course, they come back for lunch. That's the trash that they generate, other than a delivery that happened, as long as you're going to rent some trash containers that we have. Same right next to the delivery, that's on the south side of the property. But otherwise, trash for lunch, we have into the trash cans. Then they'll just put in their golf carts, and as they go out to their assignments for the golf course, they'll throw it on the officers here. For the locker house, yes, we will generate trash there with food and drink, but we have an internal trash room, and then we will take that out each day to accept it. We don't want.
Will that also trash include the employee building? The next maintenance building, employee?
That, so, this,
The office.
the office, it's 2 stories on that side because they have, there's the superintendent, the manager of the golf, or has an office. Here and such, and it's just- so the offices are really just computer work and for, they're not, they don't, it's not like a county office and bringing all them on, it's just the manager that's in there, does all the computer work, signs the trash for the day. And then whatever trash you're generating, paper trash maybe, which is the only trash in there.
So a waiver would be required for both the loading and the trash. As we move, okay, so this is provided by the loading periods. Parking variance was addressed. Solid waste storage was just addressed. The traffic study, do you agree to make some changes in the traffic engineer requested in the traffic study?
The changes that were requested for the traffic study will be made.
Parking, or the variance for the EV spaces was addressed, and you had 8 general comments. One was addressed, with
So, I think for the most part, there's no issue with any of the comments. We discussed prior to the hearing, like the 6.7 will work with your office.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no problem with anything. I think that we, for 6.2, you would simply state that applicant should provide additional clarity regarding the operation of the facility.
Okay, what do you have? Okay.
That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Any questions, Jim, back to the chair? Questions for both of you? I'm concerned about the residents in the area, and I've read in the paper of other towns with the pickleball, it seems like it generates, and I don't know for a fact, more noise than I've seen other towns, except it's through the newspapers. Do you see this? The lighting, I think that was discussed pretty extensively, and I don't think that could be a problem, and if it is, they can adjust it. But the noise from the pickleball, do you foresee any problems that the residents would have with this? Because it's going to start, let's say, 7 o'clock in the morning in the summer and maybe go on till 10, 11 at night. Do you find it to be any, that it would be a problem?
Yeah, so that's what, you bring up key points, for example. So with the pickleball, that was one of my concerns. And looking at this plan, I'm trying to envision what the ground goes all the way down in front of the pickleball. I see it in front of Mason's building. It doesn't look like it's being carried down.
It doesn't currently.
It doesn't go in front of it. So there's really no sound attenuation right there going towards the roadway if you're worried about residents that are across the street, across Frisville Road. Now there is noise on Frisville Road, obviously, things like that, but to that point, when you get late, then traffic disappears and somebody's listening to a wall be hit back and forth until 1 o'clock at night, especially during the summer, right, when no people will be out there. Yeah. So is there any kind of maybe wall that could be added to that side or something simple rather than putting up an entire berm, but something on that side that's easy enough? I don't even know if they might make sound barriers now to go on the outside of the fence or something like that.
That or the, and then the Sterling Glen side.
Right.
Do you find it to be that could be a, where I'm trying to word off is where we're gonna get calls.
Sure, absolutely.
And the unhappy neighbors and,
And I'm thinking for pickleball now, they might actually, similar to a wind screen that you would see on a fence, they might actually make something that actually attenuates sound from a pickleball court as well.
We have a proposed wall, 8 feet, I believe.
Yes.
So I have 8 feet on the north side for this specific.
We're starting
It's concrete stones that are locked for that reason. But it's just right now currently on the north side. Of course, it could go on the other side. It would be the same waiver we're requesting now. You know, the waivers we're requesting to make some fences around that.
But maybe just thinking about sort of aesthetics too, just not putting up a concrete wall
Right.
at Frisville Road, you know, I'm thinking something different. We definitely need something for sound attenuation, so maybe you'll work with us on devising a
I like
way
that idea.
to attenuate the sound on that side.
right, that,
That would be
the
great.
roadside I wasn't as concerned with because, you know, the road and the distance.
Sure.
But I know you brought up a good point, as the evening goes, just like other roads in town, it quiets down.
Right.
But more for the Sterling Glen side, that, so we don't, because it seems like it's going to create a problem in
Right.
other towns where it's got to be a serious problem.
Right, and I think the wall, if the wall's being proposed for grading reasons on that side, that's different. But if it's just for sound, maybe we can find something else that would look a little bit more presentable rather than a concrete wall or maybe a decorative wall or something like that. Just to, again, play into, this is a nice facility, we want to keep it nice, we want to attenuate sound, but we want to still keep an aesthetic look. So if you'll work with us and if the board's
Yeah,
okay-
just like we addressed it, so we didn't take consideration
Right.
for the residents in that area.
You're absolutely
Right.
right. Absolutely.
They might not be, want to stay up till 10, 11 at night hearing the balls
Right.
bouncing, right?
We're fully agreeable to it. That's why we thought about this. We put that sound wall in the face of the north side for that reason. We also went as far as to say the prevailing wind, whether that matters, is actually going
That's a factor
to
too,
the,
right?
to,
It is
to
a
the east.
factor.
Yeah, so it's going
So,
from going out and across.
so you agree that you'll work with
Yes.
Our
the professionals to alleviate the problem as best we, a possible problem.
Absolutely.
Not saying there will be, as much as we can, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Maybe, the answer to what's the situation for the golf course would be simply to limit the hours of operation. You know, if it's July, sun's up till 9, you know, they're playing pickleball till 9, or after, something like that. That's not as much or not as much as a detriment as people playing pickleball not 12 o'clock. You know, so that makes the expedient way to handle the noise issue. To just not have it after a certain hour. Yeah. You know? And then if additional remediation, we go from there. But that would, to me, that would be the starting. Yeah. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, any further questions for our professionals? Just give it to me.
No, we thank the board for their time. Do you think there are questions during your deliberation?
Is there a motion to open to the public for application 25-24?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on behalf of application 25-24 and 558 site plan? Seeing none, is the motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I do have one question. I have one question regarding, I don't know who can answer this, but is there a general contractor already hired to do this project? Is he local?
Yes.
I just want to write it down, you know.
With the name, yeah, JJCC.
Thank you. Mr. Fury?
Okay, before the board this evening is Scotland Run Properties Inc. Property is located at 2625 Mill Road. The applicant, what's it?
She's talking.
The applicant is seeking several use variances as well as waivers. In addition, is also seeking preliminary and final major site plan. If the board so chooses, you can handle all of the relief being sought by one resolution and one motion to approve. I'm going to try to summarize. There's a lot of testimony this evening, very good credible testimony with respect to the D1 variance is being sought, the D2 variance, the C variance, as well as a multitude of waivers that were being sought. Most, if not all, of the relief being sought, as well as the waivers, was addressed by the applicant's professionals, as well as our professionals. And reference was made to MTCB 1, and most, if not all, of the recommendations made by Colliers, our planner and engineer, agreed to be adhered to. There are many conditions that were placed on the record that the applicant has agreed to adhere to. So you would need to do balancing tests to determine whether or not the applicant has satisfied their burden of proof with respect to the use variances, the D1, D2, and C variance, as well as the multitude of waivers. So you need a motion to approve. You can, whatever you choose to do.
Members, your pleasure in regards to application 25-24 and 558 site plan.
Motion to approve, Bozak.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kozak?
As our professionals even agree with the applicant's testimony, it's somewhat of an accessory structure, but it's kind of goes along with the principle. So for that reason, yes.
Mr. Hefner?
Same thing Neil said, it fits everything that's going on there.
Mr. Carino?
Yes.
Mr. Deary?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. McGeehan?
Yes, that's Steve.
Mr. Kowinski?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Kozak.
Motion approved.
Thank you very much.
So now there's some memorialization.
Memorialization, if it's prepared the next meeting, the 24th. Yeah.
open. Okay, next on the agenda, application 25-37, Pete Horn, lot coverage variance application to be scheduled. Public notice requirements were not satisfied. This matter will be adjourned until November 24, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. No new notice will be sent to 200-foot list. The board officer will execute public notice in South Jersey Times with new hearing. Okay, is there a motion to open the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there anyone from the public to speak on behalf of any item? Seeing none, there's a motion to close the public portion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the October 27, 2025 minutes?
Motion to approve, Kozak.
Second.
Joe? No, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, no problem.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Reports. Anything from council?
Nothing this evening, thank you for asking.
Amy? Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, guys.
Is it off?